All right, guys. This is episode 40 of the Let's Talk Ball pod. I'm your host, Tochi Talks Ball, aka Tochi. I am joined by my co-host Spain. As always, it has been a little bit of time since we last spoke. I think our last pod was from before the international break, so it's nice to get back into the rhythm with the pods. There were some good games to discuss. Huge one with Chelsea and Arsenal. So excited to discuss that one with you, Spain. But
Mm-hmm.
we're going to talk about all the Game Week 13 matches, and kind of do our Game Week 13 awards, how we usually do. Talk about our winners of the week, losers of the week, any goals of the week, fraud watch, things like that. And then we'll do some deep dives into United versus Crystal Palace, and then Arsenal versus Chelsea. Maybe look back on the games from the last couple of weeks if it's relevant. And then at the end, maybe do a little miscellaneous section where we talk about some FPL or anything else that's top of mind for us. But before we jump into the nitty gritty of the pod, Spain, how you doing?
Doing well. I'm back in Charlotte right now at my parents' house, as you can see from the different background here for Thanksgiving. So we're recording the Monday after Thanksgiving, so it's been a little extra time here in Charlotte. But yeah, doing well. Had a good Thanksgiving with family. How you doing?
Nice. Same here. Just got back to Atlanta. What was it, yesterday? After a nice Thanksgiving trip. It was quick, but got to see family, got to see you, Bailey, a couple other people. So that
Mm-hmm.
was nice. But yeah, definitely enjoyed the weekend of footy. Always enjoy the weekend when United wins, but enjoyed it in general. I felt like the games were pretty entertaining. Lots of goals, I feel like, in all the games, which has not been a trend that we've seen a lot this season. So that was cool. But yeah, been good in general and excited to get back into the pod. So without further ado, let's jump into game week 13, unless you got anything else you want to talk about in the intro here.
No, not really. Or maybe give a quick shout out to NC State men's soccer team. They made it to the Elite Eight, first time since 1992. They were ranked as the number one at some parts during the season. But yeah, we're going to the Elite Eight against Georgetown, so we're going to go watch them play in DC on Friday. So looking forward to that.
Nice.
Um,
Nice.
Supported NC State sports in every capacity, and soccer being one of my favorite sports. Looking forward to watching the Wolfpack play.
Nice. That's a great shout. I didn't even
Mm-hmm.
realize that they had done that. And then for you to have them so close by in DC, that's sick.
Yeah, should be a fun time. Gonna try and get a couple friends out to go watch that. So yeah, should be a lot of fun. But other than that, nothing else. We can jump into the awards.
All right. Well, let's talk about game week 13. Like I said, there was a lot of action, a lot to cover. So let's start with, as always, our winners of the week. I can start because I don't have a very good answer here. I feel like there was no clear, like, outright winners, in my opinion. The two that I had down in our notes was Liverpool. I wrote them down just because they stopped the bleeding, not because I necessarily think that they came out looking like super sharp or like they're back or anything, but I feel like their decline has been super dramatic this season. So looks like they were at least able to get Isak, their 150 million pound striker, off the mark in the Premier League, getting his first goal there. And then hopefully that's the mark of progress for them moving forward.
Yeah, who would have thought that it would have taken till game week 13 for Isak to score his first uh, Premier League goal after all like the
Hmm.
buzz and hype around him going to Liverpool. So that's very surprising that it took that long for him to score. But obviously he was didn't really have much of a preseason, so he didn't wasn't playing too much. But still quite surprising.
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree. And then the other one that I had for my winner of the week was Sunderland. Just because of the way that I just keep doubting that they can keep pulling this stuff off. But, it is another home victory for them. They are just unstoppable at the Stadium of Light, it seems. And they were down, I believe, 2-0 early in this one to Bournemouth and scored three unanswered to win. So
Yeah.
crazy, crazy game from them. And they are now still sitting, top five in the table right now, I believe. Let's
Yeah,
see.
they're up there, I think.
Oh no, they're sixth. They're
Six.
they're six behind Brighton because it changed after Brighton won. But still, for them to be top six, to have as many victories, I think they've got six victories right now in the league, and that's as many as they had in their last time when they were up in the Premier League throughout the whole season. So, really, really good stuff for them. I'm impressed.
Anytime they get some belief and get some momentum in a game, it looks like they're going to like get those goals and get that result. Yeah, they were down 2-0, scored three unanswered to win 3-2. But like once they get that first goal, you just really see the belief playing at home at the Stadium of Light, and it's really just not surprising anymore whenever they get these results at home.
Yeah. Yep. They are a force to be reckoned with. Anything else for winner of the week for you?
Those are like the only two I could really think of, Liverpool and Sunderland. I took a little different route and set the free hitters in FPL won the week for anyone that plays Fantasy Premier League. They, as long as you pick like Foden, a combination of Foden, Gakpo, and Thiago, were all three definitely won. Looks like they definitely had a good week and were the winners in terms of FPL this week.
Yeah,
And
I like
unfortunately,
that
I'm on the
show.
other side of that.
I am also on the other side of that and very jealous. And that was funny enough, the first thing that came to mind when I thought winners of the week as well. So
Hmm.
I think that's a great shout.
Nice.
Let's move on to loser of the week. For this one, I also wasn't exactly sure who to put. I like who you've got, so we can start with yours.
Yeah, I said Everton. They lost 4-1 to Newcastle, and they looked like they deserved to have been beaten 4-1. I thought their defending was really, really bad, especially on, I think, the second goal or the third goal, where Alonga ran down and they just looked all sorts, and Voltemade was wide open in the middle of the box. I just thought Everton looked really poor, and were loser of the week for that reason.
Yeah, I thought that game was so interesting. I watched that one pretty closely. My brother's a Newcastle fan, so he had the game on in the house. I was like, Everton actually looked good at points in the match. They just could not defend to save their lives. Like, I think
Hmm.
they were probably outpossessing Newcastle and probably playing better looking football than Newcastle at times in that match. But then Newcastle just were so much more incisive with their actions, and Everton just could not. They were getting cut up in transition. Like that one goal you called out was so bad where Rotomade chipped the keeper
Yeah, he was
because
wide open in the middle.
wide open. Like should have been the ball should have been dealt with before it even got to Woltemade,
Yep.
which was one mistake. But then it almost felt like the Everton. I don't know. It was almost like they forgot that they're supposed to like mark Woltemade. Like he was in acres of space, and there was no urgency to even track back and get to him or anything like that. It was basically like, yeah, let's have him have this free shot here. Like I almost
Hmm.
was like, like I saw the replay at first. I missed the goal when it was live, and I was so shocked how that happened.
Yeah, I think it was actually that was maybe the third goal, and then
Yeah.
Pickford should have saved the second one. Like it hit him and
Oh
like the hand and
yeah.
like scored it
Yeah.
underneath him somehow. So
Yeah.
yeah, I guess they weren't like too bad, but I thought defensively they were like all sorts and just like pretty bad. At
Hmm.
least defensively. Yeah, quite a
Yeah.
weird game. Like Newcastle haven't been like that great either this season, so for them to score
Hmm.
four is quite surprising.
Yeah, totally agree. I'm interested. That was Newcastle's first win on an away ground all season as well.
Wow.
Um, let's see. The other one that I had for loser of the week for me was Spurs. I kind of hate to pile onto them because I feel like they've been a loser of the week for a couple weeks in a row for us. But the Spurs had yet another loss at home, which was a dreadful one as well. I mean, we'll talk about some moments from this game, but the vibes over there are just really bad. Thomas Frank, I feel for him because I do think he's a good manager, but they just something over there is just not going well, and I don't know why they look so poor at home as well. Like I don't know if it's expectations and the players feel the fans getting on their back and whatnot whenever they're passing sideways instead of going forwards, but they need to figure something out and they got to figure it out quick.
Yeah, fans might stop showing up because they know their results are going to be bad. They're just going to have a bad day out of the football, as they say over there. Because,
Hmm.
yeah, at home, they have just looked really bad and have not been getting results.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess we kind of saw this coming. I think we had them on fraud watch, and I don't know if it was like a hot take of the week that we had. It might have been just the fraud watch we were talking about, where I think they were overperforming their underlying numbers, and it has come back crashing down to earth very quickly for
Hmm. I've got one more loser of the week since I had an
them.
FPL winner of the week. I'll give it FPL loser of the week, and that were the triple captainers this week. There's a lot of a lot of chips this week. Yes, everyone has to use them before Game Week 19, but those that triple captained Holland got 2 points, I believe. Holland, I think, had one shot and looked pretty anonymous in the game. They scored
Hmm.
3 goals, so pretty rough for the triple captainers this week.
Yeah. Yeah, very interesting. I feel like there's been a couple games recently where Man City have put up goals, and it's one of those scenarios where if like you weren't watching the game and you just saw the box score, you would just assume that Holland had like at least two or so of those
Hmm.
goals, and then you see that he's got nothing, not even an assist or anything like that, and completely shocked. I watched that game and still am not really sure exactly why Holland could not really get a sniff, but I mean, good for Man City for being able to pull off these wins because at the beginning of the season, it seems like Holland was going to score literally 99% of their goals.
Yeah, maybe it is just averaging out. Like, yes, this one was definitely like way below the average in terms of having like one shot, but he was like his goal involvement was way too high early in the season. It was not sustainable. So maybe it is just averaging out over time now.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Well, related to your last point, I've got match of the week category. I wasn't really sure about this one. I don't know if any of these jumped out to you, but one of the ones that I did list was City versus Leeds. I thought that was a really fun one from a neutral perspective.
Hmm.
I think City went up 2-0. It might have been two first half goals as well. But then Leeds came out and made some adjustments in that second half, and they looked really, really good. They were causing Man City all sorts of problems. And I honestly thought Leeds had more of a chance of going on to win this game than City in the end, but Phil Foden ended up getting his stoppage time winner. A little redemption moment for Phil Foden, who's kind of been out of it for the last probably year or so as a player. It looks like he's starting to find form and starting to find his confidence again, though.
Yeah, I was really looking forward to seeing City drop points, especially to Leeds. But yeah, I think they brought on Calvert-Lewin either at halftime or early in the second half, and he got a
Hmm.
goal. Yeah, he came on at halftime. Yeah, and he got a goal, which is good for them. And then, yeah, I really thought they were gonna get that result at the end because City didn't look like they were like that interested or like that likely to score towards the end. But
Hmm.
yeah, they got that late one, which was kind of a it was a killer for FPL. One because Foden scored a brace, and City got the winner in the 90th minute.
Yep. Agreed. Agreed. And then the other candidates I had here was Sunderland Bournemouth, just because, as I mentioned earlier, Bournemouth went up 2-0 in that match, and then Sunderland powered back and scored three unanswered to win that one. And then the other one was Arsenal Chelsea. That one was a weird one. I think a lot of people said that was a bad watch from like our neutral fans, I heard, but I personally enjoyed it. I thought the first like probably 20 to 30 minutes prior to the red card were absolutely like electric, definitely a physical game, duel heavy, not
Hmm.
super free flowing football, but you could definitely feel the urgency and the importance behind the game based on every action that you were seeing. So I enjoyed it as a neutral fan.
Yeah, definitely not for the football being good. That was more for just the intensity of the game, and really like showed like what the Premier League is about. I would say more so than like watching it for the quality. But I,
Yeah.
but even like I'm an Arsenal fan, obviously. But I thought it was a enjoyable watch because it was really back and forth, and both teams were really up for the game. I thought especially Chelsea, like they definitely came out fight like really ready to battle.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. We got more on that coming later, but those are our candidates for the match of the week. And then before we jump into goal of the week, I just want to touch on a couple moments of the week for me. These are definitely Man United buys, so I don't know if you've got one before I go into mine.
No, I didn't really have any moments of the week, so I'll let you talk about yours.
Sure. So my two moments of the week, like I said, a little bit Man United bias, but first one was Lissandro Martinez. He made his debut this season. He tore his ACL against Crystal Palace last season, and he has been working really, really hard to come back. And he finally made his debut. I mean, he didn't do anything too crazy, but he made some passes and looked like he's ready to get back up to speed. And it was really nice just seeing him get the reception that he did. And I think everyone was super happy to see him back out there. So that was nice to see from a United perspective. He's someone that is like not just a quality player, but he's really an emotional leader and someone that like the fans really love and rally around, and same with the players. And I think he's going to be a great addition to have back there. Although if Luke Shaw keeps playing the way he did against Crystal Palace, it's going to be hard for Lissandro Martinez to displace him in that left center back role.
Hmm.
Um, And then the other one was a quick bit that I noticed after the game with Mason Mount and Lenny Yoro. Mason Mount had just scored the game winner against Crystal Palace, and at the end of the game, all the United players were celebrating and clapping in front of the away fans. And the cameras caught Mason Mount going up to Lenny Yoro and giving him some extra words of encouragement and help telling him to keep his head up, essentially, because Lenny Yoro had given away a penalty earlier in the match that put United down 1-0 in this match early, and he was really disappointed with himself. And the extra context is a lot of United fans have been getting on Lenny Yoro for his recent performances over the last 2 to 3 weeks. So I think he already came into the game low on confidence, and I think people forget he's only just turned 20 years old within the last few months. So still a really young center back. And I feel like as far as young positions go, you see young attackers and maybe some young midfielders, but I don't think you see that many young center backs that are playing as much as he does. And so I think he set himself a little bit higher standards than people are used to. And now that he's dropped a little bit in performance, people are really getting on him. And I think he's someone that really needs to be rallied around right now. So I really liked seeing that moment from Mason Mount, taking a second, instead of celebrating his game winner, taking a second to really try and make sure that Lenny Yoro keeps his head up and keeps going. I think that is a great example of leadership that I want to see from my team.
Yep. Yeah, that was a sign of a good leader, someone who's been around a while in Mason Mount. And then in terms of Lisandro Martinez, he got a bit of a new look going on. Didn't quite recognize him at first because the way he's got his hair kind of slicked back.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've been watching him. I've been seeing the clips of him in training and stuff like that all season. So I come to expect it. But I agree, it definitely is a new look with the hair and whatnot.
Yeah, it's the first time I've seen him in a year, I feel like. So I was a little
Yeah,
surprised.
yeah.
Kind of forgot who the guy was for a second, but especially with the new hairstyle.
hmm He does kind of. I mean, he keeps getting hurt for long periods of time and then coming back looking reinvented. Honestly, it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
He was real skinny and had his original look under Ten Hag, and then he got hurt for a while and came back, and I think he tried to beef up, so he looked a little bit more like a juice head.
Yeah.
And then now he's come back with this new haircut, a little bit more slimmed down, but interested to see what the next evolution of him is. Hopefully, he's still got just as much quality on the ball.
Yep. And with that, do you want to go on to goals of the week?
Yep, let's do that. I'll let you handle that.
Cool. So my goal of the week is Dewsbury Hall from the one goal that Everton scored in the 4-1 loss, but it was a really well taken goal. Dewsbury Hall's been on fire, by the way.
100%.
But Tarkowski had the ball in his own half, put a chip through ball over the top, into the box, and perfectly split two defenders. So as it's dropping over the head, I can't remember maybe over Chow's head. But Dewsbury Hall sticks out his boot before whoever they're playing right back for Newcastle.
Probably Livermento, yeah.
Livermento. Yeah, cushions it perfectly. Somehow right in between the two players, takes a second touch to get away from them, and then shoots it bottom corner before they can close him down and get a block in. But that first touch was incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, an incredible 3 touches. The touch aspect, the way that he kept he brought the ball in, but then the speed of the touches and the cleanness of them was all just it was peak.
Yeah.
It reminded me a lot. Oh, go ahead.
I said he knew not to let the ball run too far in front of him because he knew it was going to get closed down.
Yeah.
And because he kept it so close, Livermento could get a block in without fouling him.
hmm Exactly. He did superbly well. It reminded me a lot of almost Matoma's goal last season. Not the exact same thing, but the ability to bring down a long ball and then perform a next action so quickly afterward and then slot it away, I thought was incredible. So
Yeah.
I love seeing that.
Yeah. Do you have one?
The other one, I'll steal the second one that you listed here. Tyler Adams shot who'd they play this weekend against Sunderland. He picks up the ball a little, probably right before the halfway line, just takes a few touches past the halfway line and just chips it over the keeper, perfectly places it right under the bar. And I just love seeing that. I love Tyler Adams as a player. He doesn't score many goals. I feel like that's maybe his second goal for Bournemouth.
His first goal for Bournemouth ever was earlier this year. So
yeah, exactly. So second goal ever. He just seems to be in a goal scoring mood, and he's scoring outrageous goals as well at that. So that was really cool to see.
Yeah, that was a sweet goal. There's some other nice goals. I know Kamara had a nice outside the box goal, just kind of hit it hard, like controlled it well, and it was a well taken goal. Just didn't quite live up to the other two goals. And then Kudus also had to put in a nice goal.
Hmm.
But yeah, Dewsbury's Halls was by far the best of the weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, totally agree there. Totally agree. And then player slash performance of the week. You got any shouts here?
Yeah, I'll take the first one on the list since I agree with yours, and then I'll let you talk about the second one since I know you want
Hmm.
to speak on that one. But Reece James, I thought had a phenomenal performance at Arsenal. He's really stepped up to that midfield role. He's looking really mobile, getting covering ground, winning duels, making recoveries, and his long passing is like obviously we know he's got good long balls, but his long passing has been especially impressive from him. So I think he's had one of the best performances this week.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. I think he looked so awesome. I think the way that they've been able to take care of him to make sure that he doesn't get re-injured has been really well managed by Maresca, and he looks like he's in top form. I know a lot of people, including myself, were hyping the Rice Caicedo midfield matchup coming into the
Hmm.
game, and Caicedo kind of ruined that for us, but it honestly allowed Reece James to shine even more. I think he looked incredible in that midfield position. I think a lot of people have been discussing like who there was debates at some times. I've seen people talking about who's the best right back in the Premier League right now. Can you still count Reece James, this and that? But he moved into midfield and still looked like one of the best midfielders in the league right now. I think he's just straight up one of the best players in the Premier League. And you put that on full display against Arsenal. I mean, I think he might have literally won every single duel. I'm not sure about the stats, but it looked like he won every single duel that he partook in. And then, like you said, his passing range as well, his ball carrying, everything was on point.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I was looking forward to playing against Reece James because I thought we would overrun him with Rice's physicality and just running ability. But I was mistaken because Reece really stepped up and had a great game. I guess I haven't been
Yeah.
watching him enough this season or paying enough close attention to him. But yeah, he was very impressive in the midfield role.
Yeah, I think he's someone that like he looks so good even every time I watch him play. Honestly, it's just a matter of whether or not he can play enough minutes to, really make a difference. And it seems like he's in form and very fit right now. So,
And the fact he's only 25 is kind of wild.
hmm,
Seems he's been around for a lot longer, and like with his
exactly.
injuries, he like kind of feels older. But no,
Hmm.
he's only 25.
Yeah, exactly. Plenty of Reece James to go.
Hmm. But who was
Um,
your performance of the week?
yeah, my performance of the week is Elliot Anderson, which might sound crazy if you check the scoreline because Nottingham Forest lost to Brighton this weekend 2-0. But Elliot Anderson put on an absolute monster class performance against them. So good that he ended up getting the player of the match rating, at least across on FOTMob and I think SofaScore as well, was the player of the match for Nottingham Forest. I mean, just eye test wise, he was completely bossing it. He was basically doing everything for Forest. Just to name off some things, he completed the most dribbles in the match as a midfielder. He created the most chances in the match out of any player. He was drawing fouls when he was carrying the ball. And he also won the most duels in the match. He won 12. Probably should have had an assist. He had 18 defensive contributions, which is just absolutely nuts.
Jeez.
Like he was just doing everything for Nottingham Forest and kind of has been that way all season for them. And he's my favorite midfielder in the league right now, honestly. And I hope United can get him. I saw some reports that Man City are interested in trying to make him a priority target, which worries me a lot because I think he could be a really good fit for them.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think Elliot Anderson deserves his flowers because he's doing what feels like a one-man job in that Nottingham Forest midfield, just dictating play, carrying the ball, but also being an absolute destroyer without the ball. Like he's just a very, very good player.
Nice. Unfortunately, I did not watch that game. I had the Villa, Wolves, and Liverpool West Ham game on, which I thought were pretty weak watches. I thought they were pretty lame games and uninteresting. So I have to go back and watch the YouTube highlights of Elliot Anderson's game because they did not show much of it in highlights
Yeah,
from what I saw.
yeah. And then the other contrast I wanted to add in here, which I don't want to add insult to injury, but people don't really, no one's gonna get on me too much for this. Carlos Baleba, is the other player that was so hyped up this summer, like even more so than Elliot Anderson. And Carlos Baleba didn't even start for Brighton today. He's
Wow.
played, or not today, but when they played Forest over the weekend, he's played a lot of games this season and been hooked at halftime multiple times, been pulled off early, just is not having a very good season at all for Brighton. And so much so that he didn't even make it into the starting lineup for Brighton. So that's another storyline to watch. And it just goes to show how quickly narratives and stuff around football can change.
Yeah, I've got a question for you. Are you still a
Yeah.
Baleba?
I'm still a Baleba, just hopefully at a discounted price. Hopefully not asking
Yeah.
us for 110 plus mil or whatever they want. Hopefully that makes him more like a 60, 70, maybe 80 million max player. Because I still think he's got all the intangibles. And Carlos Baleba is also only like 21 years old, I think.
Hmm.
So he's still a young player, got plenty to improve. Dips in performance are definitely normal. I mean, I would love, honestly, if we go into next summer and somehow get both Elliot Anderson and Carlos Baleba as midfield additions, pending what happens with the rest of our team, obviously. But my number one midfield target as of right now is Elliot Anderson for sure.
Nice. And that for the listeners, that references to Tochi's FPL team.
Yeah,
So I had to ask the
yeah.
question. If you,
I was just laughing at that this weekend,
yeah,
actually.
yeah, I saw that not too long ago. I was like, wow, that's funny. Because in the summer when you made the team name was very relevant, but not very relevant
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah, not very relevant at all. But, I love an underdog story.
Yeah,
Hopefully it
yeah.
ages well by the end of the season. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, like I said, things change quickly. It's not even halfway through the season. Who knows?
Yep.
Let's move on, though, to next thing we've got here is Unsung Hero of the Week. My contribution for this one was Luke Shaw. I thought in the game against Crystal Palace, he saved us multiple times in that first half. But there was one really notable one where a Palace midfielder is able to turn and face on the ball, and they're starting a counterattack, and Delict slips, and Nketiah's got the ball. Basically, it's Luke Shaw versus Mateta and Eddie Nketiah, and Nketiah is driving, and Luke Shaw somehow gets back and perfectly times his slide and blocks Nketiah for what probably would have been a guaranteed goal for Palace. Would have put United down 2-0 in the match, I believe. If not, I think it would have been 2-0 at that point,
Mm-hmm.
or would have been the first goal. Regardless, it would not have been good for United. And I think he was a big reason that United even had a chance to come back in this game. And honestly, he didn't start the season great, but I think he's been one of our most reliable defenders this season as well. So I want to give him his flowers.
Nice. Yeah, I didn't really have much of one. Thinking of one right now, I'll go with Bob Sanchez from Chelsea's goalkeeper. I thought he had a good game. Two really big saves. One on Martinelli, one on Marina, both like low down, going like kind
Mm-hmm.
of backwards of his movement across the goal. So I feel like he doesn't really get much praise. He usually gets criticized more than praised. And I don't think he's like a phenomenal goalkeeper, but I thought he had a really good game for Chelsea
Yeah.
and definitely helped them keep a draw.
Yeah, I think that's a great shout because I think it's really easy to point the finger at him when he messes up
Hmm.
because he just messes up in such spectacular ways. But that being said, he still does a lot of really good things. He has some great saves and like great moments in matches, and regardless of the hate and the mistakes, he still shows up every single game and does his best. So I think that's a great shout.
Yeah, I can't lie. I was waiting for him to do something or hoping he was going to make some spectacular mistake when they were passing around the box
Hmm.
or whatnot and gift us a goal for that win. But yeah, he had a phenomenal game for them.
Yep. And then let's finish up or actually, we got two more awards to go. So we've got a hot take coming up at the end. But before we go into that, I just want to talk about a few funny moments from the week. There's not
Mm,
often a whole lot to talk about here, but we've got quite a few here. So I will start with mine just because we were just talking about the Chelsea Arsenal match. And I personally found it, one, funny that Caicedo made that tackle on Marino that he got the red card for, and he goes down acting like he's hurt. But then there was like the whole like 3-4 minute VAR review to see whether or not it should be a red card or not. And it was like from the replay, in my opinion, so clear that it was a red card. And I feel like he knew it too. That's why he was rolling
yeah,
around.
for
And
sure.
then the ref shows him the red card and he points to himself like, me? Like, you're talking about me? And I thought that was just so funny. I literally laughed out loud when I saw that.
Like, who else could that red card have been for? There was nothing else going on. And he's like not even on the field to where there's like other players around him to where he's like on the
Uh-huh.
sideline to where he only could be showing it to him.
Exactly.
He kind of doubled down too, like held it for like the point on me, like for like a
Exactly.
good 30 seconds.
I just loved the commitment to the bit, you know. He pretended like he didn't really do anything wrong on the field and then still was like pretending like he didn't do anything wrong. But I feel like he knew exactly what he did the whole time.
Yeah, hey, he tried everything he could to get away from that red card.
Yeah, I respect it though. I respect it.
It was pretty
What
funny.
about you?
He definitely
Good.
waited a little bit. That injury delay, watching the highlights, it was a little delayed. You could tell he like went down and then like I think he like clocked like, oh shit, this could be bad. Let me like
Hmm.
fake an injury. And then
Hmm.
it was just kind of funny seeing both Marino and Caicedo on the ground rolling like side by side. We
Yeah,
saw like 30 seconds.
there's obviously a lot of rolling on the ground in that game.
A whole lot. That was one downside of that game. That was not enjoyable.
Yeah.
But I got two funny moments. The first one is the Lucas Paqueta double yellow card for dissent. Got two yellow cards within about a minute for dissent. The first one I think was a little soft for him, but then he just would not leave the ref alone. I think Van Dyke tried to get him away. His teammates kind of helped to try to get him away, but he was like felt like for like a solid 30 seconds to a minute, just kept going
Hmm.
at the ref. And the ref had no other decision, no other choice but to give him a second yellow, get a red card.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
only Lucas Paqueta would get himself two yellows within the space of a minute, both for dissent.
Yeah. I thought that was so interesting that his teammates didn't try harder to get him
Mm-hmm.
away. I don't know if that's just like a lack of leadership in the West Ham team and not really having like a true captain out there to really like get things under control. But it was just outright. Like, yeah, he just spent way too long. Like, you can't really blame the ref for giving him the yellows.
No.
I guess I'll give him a little sympathy here. He did. Did you see his post on social media afterwards?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really understand that.
I think he was alluding to the fact that like he had that whole investigation over match fixing for the
Mm-hmm.
yellow card stuff, and I guess he was trying to imply that that stuff like affected him more than he thought. And like I don't know if he you mentioning that the first yellow card felt soft a little bit. Maybe he had in his mind like, oh, here you go booking me for like complaining and dissent, and I don't know if like this is a stretch, but he's like, maybe people are gonna think I'm trying to get booked on purpose again, and this, and that. I don't know. He just completely lost his head, and
Uh,
seems like he's like completely like I don't know. That just felt like I don't know why he was so incensed and just could not calm himself down at all.
yeah, no. Yeah, in his post, I guess like your explanation there makes a little more sense, but still, there's no excuse for that. Like,
Yeah.
and yeah, I mean, and that does suck that if there was this investigation, there's really nothing to do with it at all. I do feel bad for him, but I mean, you gotta learn to come up with a solution somehow for yourself. Talk to a therapist or something.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
that's really
Exactly.
if it's been 2 years and it really is really messing with you for that much, like get a therapist, do something.
Yeah.
Like sorry, no one else is gonna help you out, but it's kind of on you to get yourself a little help there.
Exactly. Like I think at the end of the day, you got to take some personal responsibility for yourself. Like I understand. Like if you felt like there was some character assassination around your name, like I totally feel the sympathy angle there. Like I would hate if people were making jokes about me match fixing and all this sports
Hmm.
betting and like getting cards on purpose and stuff like that. I mean, it literally screwed him out of a move to Manchester City. Manchester City were extremely interested in probably going to put in a bid for him at that time. Then that investigation came out and they couldn't move forward with getting him because they had no idea what his future was going to look like.
Hmm.
And so I could understand him as a player really struggling with that. Like he's sitting on a West Ham team that's just absolutely dreadful, looking at Man City going on and winning all those trophies and whatnot. Like I could see how that would really eat at you as a player, but at the same time, you just can't do that
And
at the
that's
end of
what
the day.
yeah, that's what I didn't like about his tweet was the lack of accountability. Like he took zero accountability whatsoever.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. Got to do better.
Hmm. But without
But
any of
what?
that, it was
Yeah,
a hilarious moment.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Just total head loss, absolute crash out,
Hmm.
and good funny moment of the week.
Yep.
One last one.
Yeah, one more. Very Spursy moment. Spurs doing Spursy things. Vicario on their second goal. This is 5 minutes into the game, a minute after Fulham had just scored. Long ball played over the top. Vicario comes out to what he should do is blast into the stands, but instead takes a poor touch, goes a little behind him. He decides to try and keep the ball in play and play the ball down the line. So he's all the way on the sideline, plays the ball down the line, goes straight to a Fulham player. They make one pass to Harry Wilson. Udogi falls down and slips, which is kind of funny as well. And Harry Wilson just one times it from like 40 yards out all the way on the sideline to an empty net. And then Vicario has the gall to still yell at his teammates after he makes a huge mistake.
That was bad. And I feel like the worst part was like, should have cleared it, should have just booted it. One, terrible clearance. Two, just kick it into the stands. And then three, he kicked it and almost like took his time getting back to the goal as if like Fulham weren't going to just shoot it on an open net. Like I just did not understand that at all. Like every step of the way, I thought he messed up. Like he had 3 chances to kind of save himself and failed at all 3 stops.
Mm-hmm. So Spursy.
Yeah, very, very Spursy. Yeah, I think that's one of those things that like just that's what happens once you're having a moment like Spurs are having right now, I feel like. Let's move on. I'll let you handle this because this was yours, but we have our last section, which is hot take or overreaction of the week.
Yeah, I got one hot take, and it's that Aston Villa, will be below Manchester United come the new year. So come like January 1st, whatever that week is, I think United will be above Villa, or I think Villa will be below United is more the take there. It's all because I was looking at the table and I saw Villa in 4th, and I had a really like hard time believing that because I've watching them, I haven't heard that much about like them performing well. When I have watched them, I haven't been impressed. And I looked at their form, and they've won 11 of the last 12 in all competitions, which is a really, really good run. But did a little more digging. I just don't think that form is sustainable because like they're 18th in the league in XG, and the 18th in big chances created as well. And they've scored more than half their goals from outside the box this season. 9 of their 16 goals are from outside the box. They're also 11th in XGC, which isn't great. So all that to say is I just don't think this is sustainable form for Villa. So I think they're going to finish below or be below United coming into the new year or start of the new year.
Nice. Yeah, I love that. I love that take, one, as a United fan. But two, eye test just tells me that Aston Villa are not that good of a team. And I've been shocked. I was shocked when I saw how high in the table they were as well. So kudos to you for doing the digging and figuring out exactly why that is. I was just thinking about the goals that they'd scored in the last couple of weeks. We saw Morgan Rogers' free kick, which was quality and, deserved a goal. But then there's like Matty Cash's goal he had I think it was against City from outside the box. Buendia had a goal against Tottenham that helped win that game. That was also from outside the box. Good goal. But like these are very high. You said what?
Kamara over the weekend.
Yeah, Kamara over the weekend. Another one. Like they've had multiple of these goals that are decisive goals that have happened in ways that just are so high variance. And just like when we said Spurs were overperforming their underlying numbers and have crashed down to earth, I thought Liverpool were overperforming their underlying numbers at the beginning of the season. They crashed way harder than anyone could have imagined. I think Aston Villa are going to be the next team to kind of see a crash that people maybe didn't see coming because of where they're at right now. So I think that's a great shout.
Yep, and the game against Wolves, I don't know how they kept a clean sheet. I think Wolves hit the post. I mean, the Wolves are terrible, but they hit the post twice. Stuart Larson had a barely offside goal that didn't count. Granted, Martinez made a phenomenal double save off the crossbar, then another one to push it away. But yeah, I just see them coming back down to earth a little bit. And also their fixtures between now and the new year, they play Arsenal twice, City and United. Oh, sorry, not City, Chelsea and United.
Chelsea?
Yeah.
Chelsea and United?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then you guys have a pretty favorable run of fixtures. So that also is playing into this hot take, but it's more in the fact of just don't see Villa's form, their winning form staying like that.
Fair enough. I mean, I honestly hope that's the case, but we shall see. I think that wraps up our Game Week 13 awards, though. So hopefully we got to touch on most of the games and most of the action and everything that you need to know from those games. Let us know what you thought about that. If you've got any winners, losers of the week, anything like that, drop it down in the comments. And now let's move on into the Arsenal and United deep dives. Do you want to start with Arsenal versus Chelsea? I feel like that was the bigger game of the weekend for sure.
Yeah, let's do that. So in terms of team selection, we had a surprise Saliba injury that popped up out of nowhere. Of course, Arteta's not going to tell anyone because he doesn't
Hmm.
likes to keep his cards close to his chest. But the lineup came out and there was no Saliba, and everyone was shocked. It also hurt because Gabriel's out, so we had neither of our starting center backs. Trossard also got injured in training the other day, so who's been in great form and probably would have started unless for tactical reasons Martinelli got the start. So we had Hincapié and Mosquera at center back, and then Martinelli at left wing were the three changes this week. In terms of the match summary, it started out super physical and frenetic. Neither team was really gaining possession or control of the game. There were some early cards for Arsenal. I think Zubimendi got one the fourth or fifth minute. Mosquera
Yeah.
got one not long after. Then Caicedo got a red card in the 33rd minute for a bad tackle that I think everyone basically agreed on. I haven't heard anyone disagree against that. So I'm
Besides
glad they
Chelsea
got that
fans,
one.
maybe.
Yeah, maybe I haven't talked to Christian, so I'm
Even
sure he might
Christian
disagree.
was like, that's probably a red, but Mitchell was
Okay,
doubling down.
nice, nice. I knew I could find someone out there that disagreed.
Yeah.
And then so first half, not really too much happened in terms chances. Martinelli had a good chance. I
Hmm.
can't remember Chelsea really create having a good chance. So halftime 0-0. Second half, Chelsea come out and score early off of a corner. I didn't see how the free kick happened. I actually missed that goal because it was so into the second half. But I saw they
Hmm.
got a free kick, which led to the corner. It was free kick around midfield, led to the corner, and then it was a Chalaba had the near post
Yeah.
header flick.
Yeah,
Um,
I saw the free kick. The free kick was Arteta. Actually, I watched the post match interview. I don't know if you did, but he kept
mm-mm,
harping on how you guys gave away that foul. I think he was actually really disappointed. It was Hincape.
mm-hmm.
Uh, they immediately come out, kick like a long ball, and I think he either, as he was jumping, elbowed or hit the Chelsea fan in the face or Chelsea player in the face. I can't exactly remember how it happened, but it was basically like kind of jumped in, made a mistake, and fouled the Chelsea player and gave them a free kick near the box. And Arteta said must have mentioned the foul, like how we came out, how you guys came out early in the second half and got that foul and kind of gave them the free kick in the scenario for the corner. Probably three, four times in his post match
Mm-hmm.
interview. Seems like he kind of kept harping on like that being the mistake. Not so much the set piece goal that you gave up or like some of the other stuff. He was like, I understand it was going to be a physical game. Chelsea were going to be up for it, but we can't, basically saying we can't give away that foul that early in the second half.
Mm-hmm. But quick clarification, it was closer to midfield, the foul. And it was it was a
Oh,
long, it was I'm pretty sure it was more of a long free kick, unless I'm misremembering. I could be wrong. I thought it was a little
I
further
mean,
out.
no, you might be right, but I feel like it was. I think the moment he was referring to was still Hincapié.
Okay.
I can't remember the exact scenario how it happened, but
Actually, you're right. It might have been a lot closer to the box. Can't remember now. But anyway, it was a good cross that went in. Joao Pedro did a nice header, and Raya made a good save that led to the corner
yeah,
in goal.
I think it was close to the box because I remember
Okay.
Reece James crossed it in to the back post, and Raya kind of came out to try and. If I'm thinking of the same
Yeah,
sequence, Raya tried to come out to claim it, and
that's
then
the
was like kind of off his line and like had to like bat it out of bounds
yeah.
for the corner.
Yeah, that was it. I don't know, for some reason I thought it was a lot further back.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that how they scored their first goal. So bummer to concede off of a set piece, but it happens. We scored tons of goals off set pieces, so
Mm-hmm.
it is what it is. Thankfully, we battled back, and Marino scored a nice equalizer. I thought Saka did phenomenal work for that
Mm-hmm.
cross he put in. Really stood up Kukurea, put him on skates, and put in a great ball in for Marino about 4 yards out, kind of point blank range where he couldn't miss. And Marino's great in the air, so we got the equalizer.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, it was no more goals, some chances. We had one or two chances late. Chelsea maybe threatened a little bit on the counters a couple times, but that was mostly it. Just more so a really physical game where the quality wasn't that great, but a lot of intensity, a lot of strong tackling and aggression from both teams.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was a fun game. Like I said earlier in the pod, I thought it was a fun game from a neutral perspective. Tons of intensity and really got to see kind of what the Premier League is about, like you said. Um, and I thought Chelsea looked really, really up for it. I mean, as someone that just played against 10 men Everton and lost, I can understand how hard it is to score against a team that is really up for it and well organized, even if they do have 10 men.
Hmm.
Especially maybe when you don't have like that true focal point or like really target man striker to play for. I think Marino's great in the box, has great box movement, and is honestly a poacher himself. But still, um, it's just that's the way it goes. I think you can kind of take out a lot of variance from the game if you just kind of force teams to play out wide and send in crosses if you're not able to really penetrate the block too much.
Hmm.
So I can empathize with that. And then another thing that you mentioned that I thought was crazy. I thought Saka did so well for that assist, but crazy that that was his first Premier League assist in a year, a calendar year.
Really?
Yeah, isn't that nuts? I
That
mean,
is
I think because
hard to believe.
he was out for so long because he was racking up assists like crazy at the beginning of last season, but
Hmm.
then he got hurt right around this time last season. I feel like and was out for so long, and then I guess like I don't know how that happened, but I think at least according to what I keep seeing online from like Squawk and some of these other stats accounts, like that was his first Premier League assist in almost 365 days.
Wow. Yeah, that's hard to believe, but glad
Yeah.
he's back to getting those assists. Yeah, but then, like performance thoughts overall, I thought the point was deserved ultimately. I wish we would have gotten a win since we were playing against Chelsea that were man down for like 55 minutes. But Chelsea were really up for the game. They really came out to battle and really made it hard for us. I thought Chelsea's press was particularly good and really
Hmm.
gave us a hard time, especially early in the game. We weren't able to settle. We weren't able to build out from the back. We went long a
Oops.
lot. So
Hmm.
like they're like man to man press, like really just unsettled us, and we weren't able to like get any balls behind and like get any time to play Martinelli in behind or anything like that, which I thought would have been great with them doing going like man for man.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought they were great tactically. Maresca, I think, is a great tactician. I feel like that's what he's known for. And so I think I don't know. I gotta say, I gotta respect the Chelsea team for the effort that they put up. They seem like they kind of have this kind of underdog mentality about them to where like they really like to step up, especially in these big, big games against big teams. Like they want to show that like we are a big team. We're not just this team with young stars. Like we are a team that's ready for the here and now. And I feel like that's really what I got from this performance.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I think that's a great summary of the performance and like how they came out. What else is there? I talk about performances. Reece James is really good. Sanchez was really good. We already mentioned that. From Arsenal, I thought Rice was solid.
Hmm.
He covered a lot of ground. He made some good blocks. He made one really good slide tackle to block Pedro Neto's chance in the
Yep.
first half. So he was everywhere. The couple times he was sweeping up for us. But yeah, just wish we would have been able to create a little bit more. But we did come off a really tough week. We were home to Tottenham, home to Bayern Munich, and got
Bayern Munich.
massive wins, comprehensive wins in both those games. And then to follow it up with an away game to Chelsea was always going to be really tough. Losing both our center backs was tough. So with all that being said, I will take the 1-1, especially with like I think Chelsea had a lot to play for and had a bit of an easier week prior. They rested Caicedo in the midweek, I believe. So all in all, I'll take the 1 point. Which would, like I said, be down 10 or playing against 10 for a while. You'd expect to get a winner, but we didn't lose. And in previous season, we might have done that. So we're still looking solid for the season. So I'll take it and move on to hopefully get a win in the midweek on Wednesday.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you summed it up well there. I think one thing that really resonated with me that I mean Arteta didn't really bring this up. I think it was more so the reporter brought it up and Arteta responded, but I agreed with the assessment that like I think the like you said, coming off of two really, really big matches, this North London derby is also always a huge match, and then to go and have the match against Bayern Munich, which is probably the biggest matchup in the Champions League so far this season,
Mm-hmm.
and to play that game and then have to turn around and face a Chelsea team that, not that it makes a huge difference, but did have one extra day of rest compared to you guys coming into the match, and then they were also at home as well. You guys, not that London is too big, but
Yeah, yeah.
still, just like out of routine, maybe I should is a better way to put it. I thought, you know, I think one thing that I was not expecting in the match from an Arsenal perspective was for Chelsea to look so maybe much sharper physically. Like I feel like
Hmm.
you guys were maybe losing more duels than I would have expected. I always expected it to be competitive, but I thought Chelsea looked sharper physically and more aggressive out the gates than Arsenal. And I think maybe that's just like an effect of, a couple games, really intense games coming into the match.
Hmm. Yeah. And what I can say is that I'm really looking forward to playing them at home now because they
Yeah.
like came out to fight, and
Yeah.
on social media all their fans were like, "Oh, we're so good.
Hmm.
We dominated them, blah blah blah." So I just cannot wait to play them at home because I think it's gonna be a completely different game with us being at home because we've been dominant at home. And
Yeah.
going into the week, I don't think I factored in us going away and us having the busy week. I expected us to easily beat Chelsea, just because we have been so dominant recently. But those were at home. This was away. Chelsea's a big team. They're good. They're a really good team. They're in third place.
Yeah.
So I think I undervalued going away based on how good we were the past two games at home. But I'll just
Yeah.
say I'm really looking forward to playing them at home because I think we're going to remember this game and we're going to come out to fight and it's going to be a great one
Yeah.
to watch.
Yeah. And then before we move on, I've got two bones to pick. Um, One, Mark Cucurella, just total
Oh,
rat.
yes,
Total
yes.
rat. Absolute shin kicking, just
Cannot stand that
the
man.
hair merchant, whatever you want to call him. Like, I think he's a quality player, and there's a reason he plays for Chelsea and starts for Spain. But at the same time, like his whole shtick is like, how can I be as annoying and as much of a rat as I can be? Like he wasn't really like it's not like he's beating Saka for quality or anything like that. He was just trying to like foul him whenever he can and get away with it. Honestly thought maybe he was going to end up getting the red card in the game, not Caicedo with how early he picked up his first yellow against Saka.
Hmm.
Um, but just pure shin kicker.
Cannot stand that man. The one tackle we got a yellow card on Saka was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Came in like a little scissor to it. He was all over Saka, like trying to foul him. He's also the first player. He loves to try and get players sent off. He'll do anything he can to
Yep.
get a player sent off.
Yep.
Yeah, rat. Cannot stand him. Funny
Yeah.
story about this. We were watching it at home, me and Jack, and then my mom walks upstairs, watched a little bit of it, and she sits down. They zoom in on Kukurea. She goes, "Oh, he's got beautiful hair," and I immediately go, "Do not say that. We do not like that man. He does not get any compliments." So I
Yeah.
made sure to let her know real quick. We do not like Mark
Nice.
Kukurea in this household.
Gotta nip that in the bud.
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, okay." I kind of laughed about it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. And then my other bone to pick was Enzo Fernandez, another rat player that I do not like. I think he's also another quality player, probably a bit more quality to him than Cucurella or Cucurella. But I hate this whole like, oh, you left Chelsea, I'm a passion merchant, but like gimmick that he's got. Like, I don't know if you saw the clips going around on social media
Yes.
of how he like kicks Madueke. Madueke's on the ground. Like, I think he's literally laughing at him or something. And
Hated
Enzo's in
that.
his face, like not even paying attention to where the ball went, and like getting in his face, screaming. He does the same exact thing to Mason Mount, and I'm like, what is your like? I don't understand that gimmick at all. Like, I don't know if Chelsea fans find that super endearing or what, but I hate it, and I think it's so annoying to watch.
I saw one clip on social media. Some guy was like laughing and loving that clip as a Chelsea fan. Like, what's so funny about that, or like so great about that? I
Exactly,
hate
and
it.
it's not even like Madueke like it's it's not even like Madueke like whatchamacallit tried to disrespect Chelsea on his way out or anything. Like I understand the Mason Mount stuff a little bit more because like maybe people were arguing that he was purposely not playing and kind of trying to force a move, but like I feel like Madueke just like left because like he was told to leave or wasn't gonna be part of the plans in the long term. Like they
Hmm.
didn't really believe him that much.
Chelsea
Um,
fans didn't even like Madueke at the end.
exactly.
No one really rated him. Everyone, from what I remember, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure the Chelsea fans were ready, like were happy to get rid of him.
Yeah. And so I just don't. I can't get behind that. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's a great callback to Fernandez doing the same thing as Mason Mount. Yeah, I saw that
Yeah,
clip and just going around, and Chelsea fans really praising that. I'm like, you kidding me? And of course, it was
yeah,
Cucurella and him. I'm pretty sure the two players
yeah. It
defended the
was. It
the
was.
two rats. Oh my
It
god, I cannot
was.
stand
I
those
was like,
guys.
I mean, just make a name for yourself with like what you do on the pitch. Like, yes, you're having a good season, but like all this extra like getting in players' face and yelling and stuff like that. I don't know. It feels performative.
Yeah, Enzo getting in with it with like Raya too when they were like needing him
Yeah,
back to defend. I don't know, like he fell down the blocks or something and was making a meal of it. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Such an annoying player to me. I don't know.
Hmm.
He's been on top of my annoying players list for a couple of seasons now, mostly because of his treatment of Mount, but I'm seeing it in other games as well.
Yeah. Well, thank you for bringing that up, especially the Cucurella one because I forgot to mention that. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But that's all I had on Chelsea Arsenal.
cool. Yeah, that's all I've got too. I'm looking forward to that rematch at home.
All right. Let's take a quick break. All right. Back from a quick little break. Like I said, sorry if the audio doesn't sound as good now. Had to unplug my mic in order to prioritize some phone battery.
I'm
But
also
yeah,
micless this pod. Unfortunately, forgot to pack my mic when I traveled to Charlotte, so apologies for audio as well.
yeah, I will. I promise I'll figure out how to use my actual mic so that I can at least get some good quality audio coming in the future. But I don't
Don't
know
let
why Riverside doesn't work.
don't let me buy one and get it set up before you even use yours on a pod.
I mean, I would love for you to buy one and try
Yeah,
because I feel like I don't understand why it doesn't work. It's literally like I can use it with every other app besides Riverside. For some
so
reason, it
weird.
just does not cooperate. Either that or I got to figure out how to use my computer to record instead of my phone. But problem for another day. Let's talk Manchester United versus Chelsea. That game ended 2-1 in favor of
Palace.
Oh, sorry, excuse me, Palace, Crystal Palace. I was looking at it and I still read Chelsea. Manchester United 2, Crystal Palace 1. Let's see. Storylines coming into the game or things to consider. Mateus Cunha was still out with a head knock that he got in training prior to our Everton match. And then Benjamin Sesko is still out for a few weeks as well. So, lineup looked mostly the same as the team that we went with versus Everton, but the main difference was something that I actually called for after the Everton game, which was put Ahmad back to right wing back and start Mason Mount instead. And then we also saw Diogo Dalot get the start at left wing back over Patrick Dorgu. I don't know how much of that was whenever Ahmad plays right wing back, he kind of wants a more defensive wing back on the other side. So it feels more like you got like four defenders truly on the pitch. Um, but that did happen. And then the other aspect of the Dallo starting at left wing back was there was an interesting question in the pre-match build-up. Someone asked Ruben Amorim about Patrick Dorgu. I didn't see the exact question, but Amorim did touch on Dorgu and how he feels like whenever Dorgu touches the ball, there's a certain amount of anxiety that he has in the nervousness to his play that he knows Dorgu's feeling, and Amorim says he feels it himself. And he wants Patrick Dorgu to get back to a place to where he's playing more confidently because when he watches him play for Denmark, he feels like he's so much more assured. And that's something that I've noticed. Literally every single international break, Patrick Dorgu is walking away with 1 to 2 goals for Denmark, which is really impressive. And so I feel like he looks like such a strong and confident player, but I think the pressure and the noise around Manchester United gets to him. He's a young player. I think he's himself only 20, 21 years old as well. And he's in a pretty high pressure position where our left wing back gets a lot of touches and is responsible for a lot of the final ball delivery.
Hmm.
So I could see that getting to him. So I thought that was interesting just as far as team selection goes. Any thoughts there before I jump into the match summary?
No, not really. I tuned in late to the game because it was a 7 a.m. kickoff.
Yeah,
So wasn't really no comments on the team selection at the moment, really.
sure. So let me jump into the game. I will preface with I don't think this game taught us a whole lot as far as
That's
like
how I
long term
felt.
trajectory. Huh? You saw what?
I said that's how I felt. It was kind of a
Yeah,
yeah
yeah. It's
game.
kind of like a whatever game. it was a really sloppy first half from United. I thought Adam Wharton was really, really good. I think he showed
Yeah,
exactly why he's so highly rated. Like his ability to get on the ball and always know what his next move is, but also
dude.
disguise his next move. Like he's the king of like body orientation, looking like he's going to pass one way and then putting in just an incredible through ball
Yeah.
through the defense, breaking lines. Like that's just like his trademark move, and that's exactly what he did that led to Mateta's chance where Lenny Yoro fouled him from behind, and young Lenny Yoro gives away the penalty. Pretty clumsy one on his part, but I mean, I think the whole defense got caught out by Adam Wharton's pass, and that's kind of what caused the panic that led to the clumsy tackle. Mateta takes the penalty, scores the first one by going bottom left, but he took a double touch, so the ref made him retake it, and then he goes bottom right. So I thought that was a fun little chess match of like, is he going to go the same side or not with Lamens? But that was the first half, really, in a nutshell. In a nutshell, Crystal Palace had a couple of chances where they probably could have and should have hurt United more than they did, but United did well to keep it manageable. And then towards the end of the second half, last 5 to 10 minutes, you could see Crystal Palace really starting to slow down. And coming into the match, I thought this was our biggest advantage and why I thought we had a pretty good chance of getting a result there was Crystal Palace have been not rotating their players really at all season long. They're playing midweeks, they're playing Thursday, and then having to turn around on Sunday. So Crystal Palace had to travel to France and play Strasbourg in the, I guess it's Conference League that they're in.
Conference, yeah.
Yeah, they had to travel to France to play in the Conference League on Thursday. Played a game where that they lost 2-1. So they played most of their players for like the whole 90 minutes, basically, besides Mateta and maybe Wharton. And then they had to turn around and play a 7 a.m. game on Sunday versus United, who hadn't played since the previous Monday. So that was a huge advantage for United going into the match. And you started to see that in the difference in energy that Crystal Palace had in the first probably 40 minutes to the end of the second half. They started to weaken, and then second half, they just never really came out looking too competitive. And I think the mental and physical fatigue was getting to them. So second half, United were starting to get a little bit more success and time on the ball. I thought an interesting tactical tweak, if we want to get into that, was Xerxes was drifting more into the left half space and looked. I almost thought he was playing left 10, and Mbeumo was playing more of a central striker position, which I thought was a really interesting rotation from Emram. And I think it does. I think it plays to Xerxes' strengths because moving him over to that left side meant he was playing in closer proximity to Dalot, Mason Mount, and Bruno Fernandes. Like they were kind of like all getting really close together and almost doing some rondos. And that's where Xerxes is really, really good. Just kind of that 1-2 touch play. And I thought that really helped us attacking going forward. That being said, I don't think we really generated too much from open play, but those scenarios resulted in the fouls that resulted in our 2 set-piece goals in the second half.
Nice.
So I thought that was really cool to see. So not that I'll give Emram a little bit of credit there. Although I do think we need to figure out our open play attacking woes because we've looked pretty woeful in that regard for the last 3 to 4 matches. But first goal in the second half, just to touch on those really quick, was free kick from the left-hand side. Bruno kind of plays it into the left channel, and Xerxes, it kind of bounces to Xerxes, who's free in the box. And he's got basically like no angle. He chests it, and then in one smooth motion, he's chested it and almost back to goal, like the keeper's behind him. And in one smooth motion, just kind of turns around and hits it before the ball hits the ground with his left foot and puts it perfectly, like kind of underneath Henderson's left arm. Really good finish from like no angle for him. And I thought, really good by Xerxes. And then the second goal was a free kick that was closer. And Mason Mount and Bruno are both standing over the ball, wondering who's going to hit it. And then Bruno, right after the pass wall is just barely set. Bruno just does a little layoff, and Mason Mount hits it in the bottom left corner from outside the box. Good finish from him, but terrible wall by Crystal Palace. They just looked like they were caught off guard by it. And something that I thought was hilarious was Mason Mount was also caught off guard by it.
Yeah, he was.
He talked about it after the game. He said that you can see in the game, he walks up to Bruno right before the free kick is taken. And he said that he told Bruno, like, hey, you take it. And I think as Mason Mount is backing up, he hears Bruno basically be like, no, I'm going to lay it off to you. And then basically as he's saying it, he lays it off. And you can see Mason Mount be like, oh, shoot.
You see, take the step back to step forward.
Exactly. Like you could definitely tell like he was just as surprised as everybody else on the field was. And I think that's also like the beauty of Bruno Fernandez. Like I feel like he does that a lot. Even like with the free kicks. Like he had a very similar situation with the free kick that Rasmus Holland last season. But Mason Mount did well to finish it off. And those were the two goals for United. Um, Overall, I think, like I said, just my main takeaway was I'm just thought the team was very unconvincing, and I just don't really know what we can do to look better from open play. My only hope really is that Mateus Cunha coming back helps with that because I think he's someone that can just kind of break games with the way he's able to carry the ball, and like work in tight spaces. But yeah, I don't know. Another thing from the performance, Xerxes. I think he's a rhythm player. I think we saw that last season when he got a good run of games. He started to look like a really, really good player until he got hurt towards the end of last season. And coming into this season, he's been getting no play time at all. In his performances, or not performances, in his appearances, he's been getting maybe like 3, 5 minutes at the end of the game, stuff like that, but not like true runs of games. And so the Everton game, I chalked it up to warming up, and then the first half of this game, I thought he looked really poor as well. But then in the second half, the ball just seemed to stick a lot better. Like his first touch looked better, his hold up play looked better, and he was able to actually get in these scenarios where he could get the ball, make it stick, and actually find a teammate in an advantageous position. And so I'm hoping that Xerxes, with more play, is just going to keep getting better and better because we're going to be without Sesko for a couple more weeks. And so
Hmm.
he's someone that's going to need to start performing. I don't think he's going to be this prolific goal scorer, but I do just need him to make the ball stick up top and be able to bring others into play. Like be able to get the ball, receive, and hit Bruno running in behind, hit Mbumo running in behind, those types of plays. And then one last point I want to touch on before I bring you in here was just going back to the set piece goals. I United have been so bad from set pieces for the last like 2, 3 seasons even. We couldn't score set pieces and we could not defend set pieces to save our life. We still can barely defend set pieces, but we have scored, I think, literally 50%, or we're just under 50% of our goals from set pieces this season. I think we've got 10 goals from set pieces in the Premier League, which is tied with Arsenal. I think
Well,
we're number one and two, I think, for set piece goals scored. So Ruben Amorim touched on that in his post match press conference and said that's something that they've been working on a lot. And one of the advantages that we've had because we don't have any European football or midweek football, with the extra training sessions, we're able to drill set pieces more, and we're seeing that.
mm,
So as much as we're not able to score from open play as much, I don't think the set pieces are fluky either. He said the team has been working on that and actually been stealing from other teams that have been terrorizing us for the last couple seasons.
nice.
Yeah, but that's all I had on the game, really.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't watch the first half, but I watched highlights again, and I thought Adam Wharton was so good. Wanted to speak about him some more because he's so fun to watch. And that
So
first
fun.
half, the way he plays those through balls, he does a lot of like one time through balls. Like you said, he kind of disguises it and really like whips his foot around the ball and like whips his hips to really get those through balls from like angles you wouldn't really expect.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he was so fun to watch. He had one where, like you said, the one that led to the penalty. But just time and time again, he was jogging around. I love how he plays kind of slow and a little
Mm-hmm.
languid. But then just out of nowhere, we're just like ping a through ball, like usually on the ground too. So he's able to,
Yeah.
the player can run onto it, control it easily. But yeah, he's so fun to watch.
Yeah, he's very, very fun. Like I think he was kind of like my before prior to Elliot Anderson, he was like my Elliot Anderson before Elliot Anderson became him, where like he was my midfielder that if he was on, I just love to watch him play. And I honestly hate I think he's had trouble with injuries in the past because he always gets early subs. Like he rarely ever plays 90, I've noticed. And it sucks because sometimes I'll like turn on the game late and I only get like 15 minutes of Adam Morton time
Hmm.
before he's getting pulled off the pitch
Yeah,
for like Will Hughes or something like that.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, really, really fun to watch. And like you said, I love the way he can just kind of wrap his foot around and like throw an unexpected through ball in there. He's such like a kind of like a nonchalant, chill player that just pings balls. And it's the thing is both feet, like right foot, left foot, doesn't
hmm,
matter. Like almost like zero angle bias. Like I just think what he can do as a passer on the ball is really, really incredible.
yep, yep. Yeah, we didn't have too much more to take away from the game. I thought it was like I was. they said it was super early, so I was kind of half watching the game,
Hmm.
the second half, but it wasn't like very exciting. I watched the two goals, both of them set pieces, but I didn't really think either team was really doing that much. I thought United were a little better the second half, at least like in control, but like you said, wasn't creating too many chances. But I do think Palace are really starting to struggle with these games and the lack of rotation. Glasner really needs to rotate his team more because
Yeah.
you can tell, like you said, they're coming towards the end of the game, second half, post 60 minutes, they just look dead in a lot of these
Yeah.
games.
Yeah, like just a lot of bad, unforced errors that they were making. Like they would hit the ball, take a touch too long, and there's like not even you could tell they just didn't even want to chase it down if it was too long. Like they just all looked pretty lethargic.
Hmm.
And I think that's going to really start to be an issue for Palace come like as the season goes on because I don't see them getting knocked out of Conference League early, and if not, like they're just going to struggle with this for the rest of the season. And one thing that I thought was interesting, I ended up watching some Crystal Palace content creators, and they were talking about a quote that Glasner had in his post-match press conference, basically complaining about how he doesn't feel like the board backed him enough this summer. Essentially, I don't have the exact quote, so hopefully I'm not misrepresenting what he said, but it sounded like he felt like the board should have reinforced their squad way more than they did. And the Palace content creator was trying to make the argument that Glasner doesn't even use the options that he does have, which I could
Yeah,
understand
yeah,
because he doesn't rotate often. But I guess the part like where I feel for him is for this 3-4-3. As a United fan that plays it on our side, it's not the exact same system, but you need kind of specific profiles, and if you don't have that, I think it can fall apart pretty quickly. So maybe that's what Glasner's battling with, where he feels like the people that he can bring on don't quite fit what he needs. And
hmm
so he'd rather go run his players into the ground that do fit rather than play people that don't fit. But regardless, I think it's a lose lose. So you either got to like put some people in and like help try and have them figure it out to the best of their ability, or you're going to run your players like Sar play so many minutes and he just got injured.
yeah. I was gonna bring
And
that up, the
then
injury.
I'm scared of like what's going to happen to Mateta. Like he seems like a pretty robust individual, but I mean, I feel like at least he's able to kind of get some early subs with Nketiah. But
Hmm.
Daniel Munoz on the right wing back side, like he plays 90 minutes and he plays a very, very physically demanding position. Tyreek Mitchell on the left hand side as well, I think is underrated. Their center backs are Chris Richards is barely keeping up with his injuries. I think it's I don't know, it's kind of scary if you're a Palace fan, in my opinion. Like I think they've got such a good team and great coach, but it just the Premier League's too physically demanding for what they're doing right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna be pissed if Richards gets an injury that takes him out of the World Cup this summer because
Yeah,
Glasner doesn't rotate.
right. We need him. We need him badly.
Big Chris Richards fan, especially for the
Yeah,
men's national team.
me too.
And then I didn't see the SAR injury. It was like a muscle one. Do you think it was? I mean, I'm assuming it was probably related to playing too much.
Yeah,
I
it
didn't see
didn't
the
look.
injury. I think it said
I honestly
ankle.
didn't see it. I didn't see it either. Actually, it was ankle. It wasn't muscle. So it wasn't like
Okay.
he was running and pulled a muscle. It
Yeah.
was Diogo Dallo made a tackle on him, and they were both kind of trying to avoid each other. But in trying to avoid each other, like basically like rolled his ankle under Diogo Dallo. So
Mm.
I think he'll be fine. Like they made it sound like he's going to be fine to go to AFCON, but he's going to be out for Crystal Palace for a couple of weeks until AFCON happens, and then he's going to leave for AFCON. So he's not going to play for Palace for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Dang. Well, definitely time to get him out of a fantasy team.
Yeah, hopefully the rest will be good for him, muscle injury wise though, so that
Mm-hmm.
whenever he comes back, maybe he'll still be a good pick.
Yeah, but I think going to AFCON is probably not good for rest. Um,
Yeah, that's true. They'll probably run him into the ground. They have a fun
mm-hmm.
team as well.
And those games always go to extra time too because they never score enough goals, so they're always playing 120 minutes like in every
Yeah,
game.
yeah, yeah. I'm actually excited for AFCON. More of a side, but I guess just to wrap up a nice bow on the United match. Like I said, not too much to take away from United perspective, other than, I mean, big win that takes United up into seventh place with, like we said, a soft schedule coming up. We've got Wolves and West Ham both coming up in the next couple of matches. And then we got a nice little update that we think we're going to be able to keep Mbumo and Ahmad for until after game week 15. In
Mm-hmm.
game week 15, we play Bournemouth away, so I think it'll be huge to have them for the Bournemouth match. and then they'll go away. But I think United have a chance to kind of collect some points and stay in the hunt, and just not drop too far off. I don't see them ascending up the table, but I'm hoping the schedule allows them to just kind of stick around and be where they need to be for a second half of the season push to really just stay around the European spots. That's my only goal. Not even necessarily Champions League. I'm happy if we finish like anywhere between fifth to eighth place, I think.
Yeah, this is a big improvement from last year. So gotta take it.
Yep. Yep. That was my last point, and then that Lissandro Martinez is back, but we talked about that earlier in the pod, so don't need to spend too much time there.
Nice. Anything else you want to talk about in terms of like this weekend, or do you just want to go into predictions for this upcoming game week?
Yeah, nothing else from the weekend other than just kind of want to take another look at the Premier League table. No surprise, Arsenal still on top and looks relatively comfortable, but Man City are, just hanging around. I think they're going to hang around for a little bit, so I'm interested to see if they can start picking up some points and if there's any games that Arsenal will drop points to make that a little bit closer. Chelsea look like they want to be in that title race and they want to be respected. I think they're a great team. I'm interested to see what they look like when Cole Palmer comes back. I want to see what Palmer Estevao Chelsea team looks like. They seem really, really excited to see that happen. I think he's someone that we didn't talk about at all from a Chelsea perspective, but I think the kid is absolutely electric. I think they have a true star in him. Let's see what else we got here. Villa, I do think will drop off. Sunderland still keeping up there. Brighton quietly chugging along, and their defense is looking good, looking better, making them a little bit more predictable and less volatile of a team.
You've got an interesting matchup this week, 4 versus 5. Brighton are playing Villa, so I'm looking forward to that game.
Nice. It's good for United. I'm hoping somebody wins and somebody loses. I just hope that they don't just share the points there, just from a United perspective. Liverpool is going to be one to watch. I'm not sure if I'm ready to call them back or ready to kind of reverse exactly what we've seen. I think it's going to be interesting to see if this was a one-off or not, because I don't think they looked that great from what I saw. Like, I thought they looked better, but not necessarily like back to their previous levels.
One thing we talk about at all, like Mo Salah benched.
Yeah, exactly. I was just about to say that. Yeah. Just about to say that. Absolutely. I mean, insane. I mean, I don't even know what to think about
when was the last time that happened when he wasn't injured that he got benched?
Exactly. He's like a 90-minute player at that. And didn't even make an appearance in the game, I don't think.
Yeah, which really pissed me off because I texted you this, but Max got 12-point Dango off the bench. Cannot believe Max's luck this year. Unbelievable. Of course.
Dude is absolutely flying. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with the Mo Salah situation, how they go about that. They got a packed fixture run coming up, so could you argue it's just, rotation, or is it him actually being relegated to the bench and no longer being a first choice player? Only time will tell. We'll find out here in a couple of days, I guess.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how he's taking it. It was hard to tell. He wasn't given much facial expressions on the bench, but he would get livid when he even got subbed off in games before he wanted to. So I'm sure he was not enjoying this unless he really understands that he's not in his best form and is best for the team. But I cannot believe that Mo Salah thinks that.
Yeah, I would love to hear from some Liverpool fans or people that pay a little bit closer attention to like the tactical side of things, if they think it really made an impact that he wasn't out there on the team balance and all that, or what, whether they think, maybe that's not exactly like the issue. Because I never thought that Mo Salah being on the pitch was really, really an issue. Like, I thought, he needs to play better as their star player, but I didn't think, the reason that they're not performing is because Mo Salah is out there messing up or anything like that. So.
Yeah, no, but I still think he's brought much to the team, but I don't think he was necessarily a detriment. But I'll listen to the Anfield Rap because I've been enjoying listening to them this season because Liverpool have been bad and listen to them have a bad time. So I'll listen to what they say and report back.
Nice, yeah. Let me know for sure. Other than that, I think only a couple notable things that I'm seeing in the table is Newcastle are slowly surging up after back-to-back wins in the Premier League, and all their issues have been away from home, and they've got a couple of home games coming up. So, we could see Newcastle start to get up in the mix here soon if they can keep up the form that they've had, especially with their next couple of games being at home. and then West Ham are just barely out of the relegation zone, and I think the three teams in there right now will be the teams to go down. But it's going to be interesting. Nottingham Forest also not picking up a whole lot of points either.
Yeah, I mean they had such a rough start under
You're
Ange.
right.
I think with time they'll be fine, but hard to say. But yeah, they just had such a rough start to the season with Ange.
Fair enough. But
And then
yeah,
lowly
that's
Wolves on 2 points still. Unbelievable. They're still only on 2 points.
I actually meant to say this earlier when you brought up Wolves, and I forgot. But Wolves, I think they're a pretty bad team, but I feel like they're better than 2 points right now. And something in my heart is scaring me that they're going to somehow get a result against United. We have to go play them at Wolves here in a couple of weeks, and I don't know what it is about that game, but I'm like, it's going to be us.
Yeah.
It just has to be
The
us.
first win of the season for Wolves.
So watch out for that. Hopefully, I don't speak that into existence. I'll knock on some wood here.
I will be clowning you and United if that happens because I have to.
Yeah, I mean, it would be such a United thing
Yeah.
to go out and just wallop West Ham. Everyone's going to be like, oh, confidence back high. United beat Crystal Palace and West Ham 2 games in a row. Can the guy get the haircut? And then just Wolves
First
just
one of the
disaster
season.
class. Yeah. But yeah, that's all I had as far as rest of the Premier League. I am good to jump into some Game Week 14 predictions.
Nice. Do you want to go first? So currently, like I said, we haven't done it in a couple weeks, but the score is at 36 or 34 in Tochi's favor. So he's got a 2 point lead on me.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. All right. So you go first. We got Bournemouth versus Everton.
Um, I am. Ooh, Bournemouth the vibes low key bad over there. Um,
Everton just lost 4-1 though as well to Newcastle.
yeah. Oh my gosh, I did not mentally prepare for these at all. I haven't looked at these. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with Bournemouth.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice. This is nice we get like a really raw, just first thought answer from you because
yeah,
I've already looked through them and thought about them.
yeah.
Okay. Fulham versus City.
I am going to go with City.
Nice. Newcastle versus Spurs.
Taking Newcastle at home for sure.
Nice.
But it would be such a Spurs thing for them to somehow
Yeah.
get a result there.
It's the Newcastle home form versus the Spurs away form. They're like two
Exactly.
like. But yeah, I like Newcastle a lot more just at home right now. They're great form at home.
Yeah.
Arsenal versus Brentford.
I got Arsenal at home.
Nice. Brighton versus Villa.
Ooh, this is going to be a fun one. I'm
Going for this
going
one.
Brighton at home. Villa or frauds.
Yep, I'm with you on that one. Glad you agree with pod partner.
Yeah.
Preach. Burnley versus Palace.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah, Burnley at home. This is a little spicy for
Ooh. Do I
Palace.
think the bad vibes continue? Let's go. Draw.
Draw. Nice. I was thinking about that hard. Wolves versus Forest.
Am I crazy? Hey, this might be more hopeful, but I'm going to go draw. I'm going to go draw. I'm not going to go win, but
I was kind of thinking like Chelsea, like they're still a little inconsistent. Maybe after like getting super hyped up for the Arsenal game, they have to travel to Leeds. I could see them dropping some points, but
yeah.
I'm still gonna pick Chelsea when it's my turn. Liverpool versus Sunderland.
Oh, wait. I was picking Wolves versus Forest for that last one.
Oh shit, my bad. Okay, so sorry, Wolves versus Forest. Who was that?
Hmm
Who-
I said draw
Draw.
reluctantly.
Okay, I was getting ahead of myself. Okay, draw
Yeah.
for was good correction.
Hmm
All right, now Leeds versus Chelsea.
Now Leeds versus Chelsea. I should pick Chelsea, but give me a draw on this one.
Okay, and then Liverpool versus Sunderland.
I'm gonna go Liverpool.
Yes. United versus West Ham.
United.
Nice. Knew that was coming.
Yeah, every week without fail. Oh man, yeah. These are interesting. I feel like there's a few of these that like could go either way. I'm just
Hmm
interested to see how the short week plays into all these games.
Yeah, yeah. There's got to be some rotation. Teams are going to be a little tired. It's got really short week.
Like, I guess I haven't really thought about how exactly like that is a pro or con for some of these teams.
Hmm. I'd say really short week. I guess it is the same as playing Champions League, but a lot of these teams are not used to that,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
and it just
But
feels
then the
different being
teams,
having midweek short turnaround Premier League games because like
yeah,
some of
but
the Champions League games aren't as intense a lot of times.
and then I think the other factor is for the teams that are playing in Europe, they played weekend, midweek versus
Hmm.
some of these teams are only playing. This is their first midweek game in a long time.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, so we'll see. Yeah, but I can do you now. Let's
Yep. I'm
see.
ready.
All right, starting from the top, we've got Bournemouth versus Everton.
Gonna go draw.
All
Don't
right.
think Bournemouth a little iffy at the moment.
Yeah, I do too.
And I'm
I do
I'm
too.
expecting a big bounce back performance for Everton after getting walloped by Newcastle
Yeah, I do think that's a great point. And then we got Fulham versus City.
City.
Nice. Newcastle versus Spurs.
Newcastle at home. Like they're just really good
Yeah.
at home.
Yep. Brighton versus Villa. Or sorry, Arsenal versus Brentford. Same thing.
Arsenal at home for sure.
Okay. And then Brighton versus Villa.
Going with the home team again. Brighton gotta back my shout that Villa are a little fraudulent.
Nice. Burnley versus Palace.
Gonna go with Palace here.
Okay.
Don't love it with being at home, but I just hope Palace's quality takes over.
Yeah. I think it probably will, but
Hmm.
I think it could go either way. I think one of those games that might be dictated by game state a little bit.
Yep.
Wolves versus Forest.
Gonna go with Forest.
All right. I like that. Leeds versus Chelsea.
Chelsea. Okay, I
Nice.
mentioned it earlier, getting ahead of myself, calling out yours, but yeah, Chelsea coming off a really big performance, like really like emotional performance, and having to go away to Leeds. I could see them dropping points, but just based off of like where they are on the table and Chelsea's quality, gonna stick with
Yeah.
Chelsea.
Yeah. I feel like on paper Chelsea should win. Palmer probably comes back in that game as well.
Hmm.
But I don't know. Something about I really like the way that Leeds looked against Man City this past weekend, to
You're
be
right.
honest.
They had a lot of fight in them.
Yeah. Yeah, and then to be at home as well, because I was on the road from Leeds, so I couldn't
Yeah,
imagine like in
well,
front of the home fans as well.
yeah, maybe that'll give them like just the little motivation to really show out with the fans.
Yeah. Next game is Liverpool versus Sunderland.
I originally had down Liverpool, but after you went draw, or no, you went Liverpool, decided to switch it up and go draw. I wasn't like that convinced by Liverpool's win over the weekend.
Yeah.
Yes, it's not Sunderland. If it was Sunderland at home, I'd go Sunderland win.
Yeah.
But away Sunderland, I'm still just I think they'll bring a lot of fight to the game and give Liverpool a hard time. Just not, I'm
Yeah.
not man. I'm mostly not convinced by Liverpool.
Yeah. No, I can get behind that. I was really close to picking the draw. I don't know why. I just feel like maybe the vibes of Liverpool will be back. I'm just kind of guessing at this point. And then last game, United versus West Ham.
Gonna go with United at home. West Ham have been bad.
Have you gotten the
No
United
Paqueta.
prediction correct yet?
I don't
I can't
think
remember.
so. Scrolling down. If I may,
I don't think so.
no, I don't. Pretty sure I haven't.
Yeah, because I think the last one was United versus Spurs, and we saw that one
Yeah.
ended up. Yeah. All right. Well, hopefully you don't curse us against West Ham because
It
we
would
need this 3 points.
it would be nuts if I get this one wrong again because I would just be
Yeah.
like way too many in a row to get wrong. But we'll
Yeah.
see.
We'll see. Yeah, that should wrap us up as far as predictions. Excited to see how these games end up. I think there's actually a good few fun ones on here.
Hmm.
Excited to see Newcastle versus Spurs. Just interested to see how Spurs show up in that one. And then Brentford, honestly, been a better side than most people give them credit for. I still think Arsenal pull it off, but maybe they'll give you guys a tougher game than expected.
He's got to be a. I mean, Brentford are going to get a penalty, right? They've been getting so many penalties, and
Yeah,
Thiago just racking
exactly.
in those
Wait,
penalty goals.
he came off injured though. I forgot about that.
Oh, is that why he got subbed off?
Yeah, he
Oh,
came off injured in that match, so I'm wondering if he's going to be out or if he's going to be able to make it back from the
interesting.
game. I don't know how serious that injury was. I
That's
forgot to
one.
mention that earlier.
That's a big thing about this the short week is that any injuries hard for players to get healthy again. So
Yeah.
who knows if Saliba will be back in time. Thiago's not flagged, and not that Fantasy Premier League is like the EPL
Okay.
website's like the best source, but he's not flagged.
Okay. I mean, hopefully. I mean, I hope so because I just brought him in on my wild
You
card,
know,
so I'm hoping that he's
well,
fine.
I'm gonna bench him for sure this week. It's away at Arsenal, the worst fixture in the
Yeah.
league, but
Yeah.
doesn't really matter, I guess. But
Yeah. And then I'm trying to think. Brighton versus Villa. I'm actually excited to watch that one. And then, other than Leeds versus Chelsea, I think will be a fun one. I love Liverpool. Sunderland should have some good energy to it as well. But yeah, a few good matchups this week. Excited to
mm,
watch.
yeah, should be a fun one. Get some midweek Premier League.
Yep. And then just to wrap up the pod, last little segment here. Any FPL or miscellaneous talk you want to touch on?
Not really after having a terrible week.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, I mean, had a poor week. Did not play my free hit when a lot of people did. Still like my team overall, but the 0 pointer from Calafiori really hurt. My whole team, my defense really underperformed. I think I got 3 points from my goalie and three defenders. Pope didn't start. Got Dubravka off the bench. 1 point. Timber 1 point. 0 pointer from Calafiori and 1 pointer from Munoz. So terrible showing for my defense. Just
Yeah.
kind of clocked. I got three. Oh, Timber got me two. So 4 points from four players. Pretty
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, not much went right other than Thiago and Mateta for me this week. But oh
Fair
well.
enough. Fair enough.
Saka assist.
How's yeah, Saka still looks like a great pick. I'm excited I brought
Yeah.
him in.
Yeah.
I'll from my perspective, I messed up my wild card plan last week, which messed up my free hit plan for this week. But I felt like in order to get the most value out of my wild card, I had to prioritize the wild card over my free hit. So I ended up going with that. Switched up my team a good bit. Instead of triple Arsenal defense, I was only on double Arsenal defense and Timber, and a last minute switch from Saliba to Calafiori, just for I don't know, felt like a more exciting pick than Saliba.
Mm-hmm.
Ended up working out nicely with the injury, but then Calafiori got me 0 points, which was hilarious. And then Saka was who I brought in as my third Arsenal asset, which I'm excited about. I'm glad he at least picked up the assist in that match. And I'm hoping that he's going to be a really good asset for me moving forward in some of the easier matchups for Arsenal. I stuck with my double Manchester United midfield with Mbeumo and Bruno Fernandes. Leveled out with Bruno getting 2 assists, so I'm okay with Mbeumo only getting the 1 pointer. But I'm hoping that, I'll get some flashes of brilliance from Mbeumo in some of our easier matchups going forward. And then what else? O'Reilly got me an assist, which was big, and Verbruggen got the clean sheet for Brighton. I feel like they're picking up more and more clean sheets, so really excited to have kind of him rotating with Dubravka for now.
Good matchup against Villa too this week
Yeah,
with their
yeah, exactly.
lack of goal scoring or chance creation
Exactly, and then
at home.
Brighton will be at home, and yeah, exactly. Brighton will be at home in that matchup as well. I think the one thing I don't love about my wild card is that I went triple Brighton, but in order to afford some of the other pieces, I had to go with Welbeck over someone like Mateta.
Mm-hmm.
But I also wasn't huge on Palace against United. I feel like I've been watching Palace a lot recently, and they just have looked pretty unconvincing, despite a lot of people being pretty high on them as FPL assets. And I think people are going to cool off on them over time, is my prediction. So I'm glad I didn't overinvest there, because I know a lot of people had Sarr, Mateta, Richards, Munoz, those type of players.
Mm-hmm.
And then brought in Thiago, which was great because he got his brace. The guy just cannot stop scoring goals. It's insane. I don't know how he's doing it. I mean, I do know how he's doing it. It's because Brentford get at least a penalty a game at this point.
It's nuts.
Trying to think what else I had going on with my team. Oh, love Elliot Anderson. That was like who I switched up my wild card for at the last second. I had a couple dead spots. I had one dead spot defender and one dead spot midfielder, and I said I want to upgrade my dead spot midfielder to Elliot Anderson. It was either go no Mente and bring in Anderson instead, but I kind of wanted both, so I made it work, and that's how Welbeck came into my team. And Elliot Anderson looked great. just eye test looked great, but I've been watching him and he's just doing everything for that Nottingham Forest team. So I assumed he'd be good for bonus, but for him to get 2 bonus points and a
Yeah.
2-0 loss is like pretty crazy. And 18 DEFCON, like the dude's just gonna get DEFCON every single game. It seems like 18
Yeah.
is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, like, what a 6 point return and a 2-0 loss, like you said, to get two bonuses and the DEF cons. Like,
Yeah,
take that big time.
yeah, and he's a 90-minute player. Like he needs to play for them. I don't think there's a great or any replacement in their team for him. So I think he's someone that is probably about to be a mainstay in my team for a minute.
Took a pin this year, too, when the
Yeah,
right players were off the pitch, so maybe you'll luck
exactly.
into a pin or two.
Exactly. He's on some set pieces. He's on some free kicks. He's on corners as well. So like he's got roost of points for sure.
Hmm.
I think he's a great pick. And only what is he 5.3? I think he is right now or something like that. Yeah.
Well,
So cheap asset and seems like he's like a nice little bankable player. Don't have to start him every week if you don't want to.
hmm
That's my only complaint with my team is I might have some weeks where I've got a little bit of a benching headache. With probably looking at like Welbeck, Thiago, Anderson, and Minte, but
yeah.
I'll deal with that. Especially during this packed fixture run where there's going to be all sorts of things, all sorts of unexpected stuff. We're not
Yeah, I'm
wanting
sure
to go
you'll
with a
get.
little bit of a deeper squad.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure you'll get some subs off the bench that'll make up for the benching headache.
I also still have my bench boost because I haven't used any of my chips besides my wild card, so that was another consideration of having a little bit deeper of a bench as well.
Nice, nice. Yeah, maybe I'll go Sara to Anderson. I'll look into that this week.
Yeah, that'll free up a little bit of money for you too in case you want to
Hmm.
upgrade elsewhere at any point as well. So
Hmm.
yeah. That's all I had fantasy wise. Overall, happy with the week. Didn't do as well as the free hitters, but hopefully I can make up the ground that I missed on the free hitters with my free hit and triple captain and bench boost here in the next couple weeks.
Yep.
Yeah, but that is all I had.
Nice. I don't have anything else either. Hoping to have a better week in fantasy, but yeah, just looking forward to the quick turnaround and having more soccer to watch tomorrow and more. Hopefully, this will help me forget my bad week in fantasy quickly. When tomorrow it'll be back to a new game week.
Yeah, that actually is a great point. I forgot the new game week starts tomorrow, so probably gotta turn this around quickly, get this out because by the time we drop, it's gonna be feels like game week 15 at that
Hmm.
point. So
Hmm.
honestly, maybe we should have done like some game week 15 predictions too. But
Oh,
um, let's see. Yeah, I don't know.
we
That's all I
can
got though.
we can do that
You
if we
want to try
want.
and run through?
Yeah, we can just
Yeah.
run through them and then I'll log them later.
All right. I will just note that it was done with a little bit less context.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Starting from the top, we've got your boys Aston Villa hosting Arsenal.
Arsenal.
Nice. And then we've got Bournemouth at home to Chelsea.
Gonna go draw.
Okay. And then we've got Everton hosting Nottingham Forest.
Gonna go. That's tough.
Yeah, it is.
Both teams that were having a hard time scoring.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go draw as well. Maybe
Okay.
0-0.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. And then we've got Man City versus Sunderland.
Gonna go City at home.
All right. Newcastle versus Burnley.
Newcastle at home as well.
Okay. Spurs versus Brentford.
Brentford.
Spurs at home.
Spurs at home. Yeah,
Yeah.
and Brentford are scoring goals.
Fair
Easy,
enough.
easy.
Leeds versus Liverpool.
Gonna have to go Liverpool for this one.
Okay.
Gonna be watching with some friends. That should be fun. My friend Sarah is
Yeah.
a Liverpool fan, and my buddy Sammy is actually a Leeds fan. The only Leeds fan I know.
Nice.
So we're gonna have a
Nice.
nice watch party for that.
Nice. That should be a fun one.
Actually,
Saturday,
let
12:30
me
kickoff.
yeah, I'm gonna switch out to Leeds. So I
Wow.
can just more for like the fun atmosphere to get more into the game
Nice.
because I'll definitely root for Leeds and watching it with a group of friends.
Nice. I like that. Then we got Brighton versus West Ham.
Brighton.
Okay. Fulham versus Crystal Palace.
I'm gonna Fulham at home.
Okay. Wow. All right. I like that. And then Wolves versus Manchester United.
We talked about this earlier. Wolves at home. Have to do
Wow.
it. I know you're not gonna pick. I know you're not gonna pick Wolves, so I have to pick Wolves in this one.
Yeah. Fair enough. I respect it.
So either I get it right, and you can kind of poo poo me for picking Wolves, but I usually get the the United pick wrong so that you can thank me if it goes right for you.
There you go. I need that. I need
Yeah,
whatever protection we can get from that game. I
yeah,
don't know why. It's just staring me in the eyes.
yeah. All
All
right,
right.
your turn. All right, Aston Villa versus Arsenal.
Yeah, give me Arsenal.
Okay. Bournemouth versus Chelsea.
Um, I'm gonna go Chelsea. I feel like in these games where Bournemouth like to go at some of the stronger teams, they just like give up easy goals for no reason sometimes. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna go Chelsea.
Okay. Everton versus Forest.
Um, phew. I'm gonna go Everton at home, but I'm not completely sold.
Okay. City versus Sunderland.
City,
Newcastle, Burnley.
Newcastle.
Spurs, Brentford.
This is a tough one. I'm gonna say Spurs somehow figure it out and get the win. I'm gonna pick Spurs at home.
Bold of you.
Yeah.
Leeds versus Liverpool.
This is another kind of weird one to call, but I'm gonna go Liverpool.
Nice. Brighton, West Ham. Yeah, the Verbruggen picks looking nicer and nicer the more I'm looking at their fixtures coming up.
Yeah, that was part of the big reason I went
Yeah.
with him.
Fulham versus Palace.
Um, I'm going to go draw.
Okay. And then your boys, United going to Wolverhampton.
Manchester United, a little bit reluctantly, but I'm going
Yeah.
Manchester United.
Yeah, I mean, on paper, you guys should definitely win this game.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. But those are our worst matchups.
Yep. The game we saw in person at Old Trafford was against Wolves, wasn't it?
Yep,
Pre
yep,
pre Cunha, when Cunha was there and they got the
yep.
win, I think, or was it a draw?
They did win.
Yeah, they
The
won.
the only shot on target was the goal, and
Yeah.
it was a free kick from Sarabia.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Be interesting to
yeah,
see if that repeats, even though it was at Old Trafford or that game we were at. But
yeah, yeah. We'll see. Maybe hopefully Copy Manu gets a redemption game there, man. That was his. That was one of the goals that helped him break out to the scene. Actually, was Manchester United
mm,
versus Wolves in a crazy one. It was United went up 3-0. Probably should have been up 4-0, I think, and then Wolves came all the way back to make it 3-3 in like the end of the game, and then that's when Copy Manu had like kind of a solo effort dribble where he curled it like bottom left corner with a finesse,
yeah, remember that one? Yeah.
and ended up scoring a winner in that one.
Cool.
Electric goal, but hopefully we don't need that to beat Wolves this time.
Mm-hmm. Picking games without seeing the previous game is a little harder. Like,
It
without seeing like
is.
the game before, but we'll
It
see.
is. I was trying to think through that a little bit because I was trying to think like, am I gonna pick Liverpool to win 2 games in a row? Do I think they're gonna be on
Mm-hmm.
like a hot streak and like other scenarios like that?
Yeah, yeah. It'll be interesting to see like if our picks are any worse or any better or whatnot.
Hmm. It is, but let's see. Excited for it, but I think that is all we got. That should wrap us up for the day. So yeah, thank you guys once again for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the pod. Game week 13 was a fun one. Hopefully 14 and 15 is going to be more fun. These are going to be coming thick and fast. There's going to be so many fixtures built up here during this Christmas time period. I'm really excited for it as just a football fan. Going to be plenty of soccer to watch between,
Mm-hmm.
all the midweek fixtures and whatnot. And I think FA Cup is going to be mixed in there as well. So it should be a fun one.
Yeah, it'll be a very fun time. Go to the holiday season.
Yeah. But yeah, once again, please remember to like, comment, subscribe if you have listened all the way to this point, and we will catch you in the next one.